Hi everyone! At this time, I made a shoe bench. Honestly, I don't know why I made it, but it looks cool and it was a great experience making it. So, let's see how I made it. As usual, I started with prepping the wood. Lately, I've been really enjoying working with cherry lumber. Where I live, it's pretty reasonably priced, which is great because my wallet already cries enough from buying tools. But what I really love about cherry is it's a hand-tool friendly hardness and the smooth surface. What's your go-to wood for projects? And, oh, yeah, this 2x2 was from an online store called Burlington Hardwood. The price wasn't super cool, but when I ordered 4 of them, I put a note that I want them from the same batch of wood if possible. And I actually found all the 4 posts are really from the same tree. Anyways, let's move on to cutting the joints. I needed to cut these simple mortises and tenons for the bottom shelf and top support for rails. Honestly, when I do this kind of repetitive work, I just tell myself I'm a machine and just get it done. Or I would take a break every 2 to 3 joints that I have to warm myself like a beep beep. The thing is though, if there are many joints in a product, the alignment is very important to assemble all the joints tightly. So, if you are not sure about your fabrication accuracy, it's helpful to set reference size like the picture and adjust non-reference size if a joint doesn't fit well before fully assembling. Now, the bridle joints. I've only cut the joint a few times, but I'm not too worried because I know if I love the wood, it somehow figures out how to be just a little bit off in the right way. So all the mistakes cancel out when the joint comes together. For this type of joint, if the bottom side is too tight, it will make a gap on the top, so people may want to undercut the bottom. But if you undercut both mortise and tenon, the joint will end up a little wobbly. So for me, if I need to undercut a joint, I always do it on one side, which is a tenon, to make an adjustment. Then I made a sliding dovetail for a crossbar. Oh, there's one thing I really want to tell you. If you are a beginner, you often hear that we all make mistakes, and a skilled woodworker knows how to hide it. While I think it's true, I find it's also important to control a mistake. Like I'm shaving the board across the grain, and this may cause the edge to break by mistake. However, the side will be cut off, and it's even in the mortise, so the accident doesn't affect the final result. Now I need to shape the pieces to finalize the base before assembling. As I become more comfortable with making straight lines, I thought it was time to push myself to try a curved line on the bottom of the rail for a little extra flair. It's a lot like life. When we are younger, we are all straight. But as we grow older, we become a little more bent in our personalities. A bit of curve as character, right? Oh, along the way, I found myself wishing for a compass plane. It's to help guide me and correct the bends, much like in life. After that, I cleaned all the surface to get ready for the glue up so I don't have to sand it. I don't know the name, but as I have a little mortise around the bridle joints, it wouldn't affect the final dimension even if I shave it a lot. Well, For one face that the sliding dovetail fits and another face that has a wedge joint, it would affect the final dimension if I shave it too much. But I only shaved a few parts, so it was okay. Then I chamfered all the sharp corners, and now it's finally time for the glue up. As I wasn't sure if I can glue up all the way at one go, I decided to only glue the front and rear piece first, and then connect them together with the middle pieces and lock them with the sliding dovetail. I was kind of scared that I would mess up the alignment. Luckily, everything fits okay. Well, as the floor at my home is wavy, I bought adjustable furniture feet. This wasn't actually planned originally, so this bench is now unwantedly 3/4 of an inch higher than planned, which took me a long time, like almost a day, to decide the height of the bench. It happens. Moving on to the bench top, I cleaned the crack with a chisel first. You know, this whole bench project was all because my wife randomly chose this sycamore board at the lumber yard. It's a quarter sawn, but I'm sure someone trimmed this part off because of the crack, and they sold this cut off for cheap. And yeah, I filled it with epoxy glue that I had. It's not UV resistant, but I hope it will be fine as it's just the bottom side where no direct sun will hit. You know, believe or not, I always wanted to try an epoxy river table kind of project, so it's good. Then I made one face flat and the other face parallel. This jointer plane still needs some work, especially a chip breaker, but it's getting better. And here I trimmed the end grain. Sycamore is actually very easy to handle, and I get to like it. And here I'm roughly trimming the bevel with my beloved small plane. Well, I realized a quite good number of my friends buy this same mini plane, so probably I will buy a new one and at least show you how I set it up, as it's super easy to get it to work. Yet, to finish the surface, it's still good to have a bigger plane. I know it's a long project, but now time for the bow tie. I believe this is Padauk, and it was only less than $3 at Rockler. I tell you, the key to have a tight bow tie is how well you can cut the bow tie piece. I mean, the size of the bow tie have to be really perpendicular to the bottom face, so please take time on it. I have a video about how I can cut the bow tie motifs, so if you are interested in it, please check it. Anyways, they look tight and I'm happy with them. By now, you may wonder how I connect the top board to the base. For this time, I decided to use tabletop buttons. I know many people know the mechanism of it to allow the wood to move like the picture, but as I hardly see another tip of it, let me explain about it. The important thing is, you make a tiny slope on one side that faces to the top board. Please look at the picture. My slope may be too much, but it will help the button to pull the base tighter. Isn't that cool? Anyways, it's finally the time to put the finish. For the top board, I made pyramids quickly. It's easy and you just need to cut a random triangular prism shape, then chisel out the sides. For this time, I used tried and true varnish oil and it seems to be good quality, but it took over a week to fully dry. Oh, this is pretty much the last chance I see the bottom side of the bench, so let me show you my river table-ish finish. And just in case, before the final product, I want to tell you about my regret. For the base, joints inside of the square is where I pay attention to as it determines the size of the square so all the crossbars and rails fit tightly. However, I was out of my mind when doing the hand plane to clean the outside surface of the rail and it ended up making a tiny gap. It's okay, at least the gap is uniform, but oh well, that's life. Anyways, after tightening up all the tabletop buttons, here's the final product. Again, it took a long time but I'm happy with it. I originally thought to sell this bench, so I tried to be as careful as possible to make it. But knowing the market price for a wooden shoe bench, I can't sell it to make a profit unless it's a custom order. Well, the good thing is my wife likes it too, so we can enjoy the shoe bench. And I guess that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I would be happy if you liked the video and happier if you subscribe to this channel. If you have any suggestion to my video, it's also welcome. See you!